全然 Om Shanti. Draw your attention and bring it in the present. Experience your true self. I am completely in the present. No past, no future. Try to experience the space around you. Things which are not physical, not visible through eyes. Try to experience the silence within this music. Try to look for those silence moments. experience the life beneath the life situations. No identification with the mind. Just being in the present. Experience your light inner body. Like a waterfall. The vibrations of peace, purity is radiating, reaching each and every cell of the body. God's powers, love, purity, healing me. The void, emptiness, any blockage, everything is going away. And I'm experiencing true meaning of being present. No past, no future. Not thinking about people, work. No time, no space. I'm going beyond all this thing. The timelessness. Om Shanti. Om Shanti. I hope a little network issues there, I know. Just give me a minute. Is my voice clear? Video is breaking a bit, right? So what I'm going to do after going through the essence of yesterday, I will turn off the video so that we get clear voice. Okay, so we are on this beautiful journey of reading this very powerful, very enlightening book, The Power of Now, and we are trying to understand what is the meaning of being in the present, what is the meaning of being conscious, being aware, experiencing that the darkness, whatever is there inside of me, which I am not even aware of, how it is creating obstacles in my life, in my peace, in my clarity, how it is manifesting as an ego and creating things which are not even there, making things painful, making things, unreal. And, what we do, we try to identify with that and we get sad. We don't get clarity. We do the things which we should not do and we regret later. And we have, lost so many relationships also because of that uh, ego, unspoken words, unexpressive emotions, out of fear, out of hesitation, out of ego, that why should I take an initiative? Why should I accept it? And there are many things. So, yes, I know that many people have joined today because they read that we are going to talk about enlightened relationships. So that's okay. Uh, I'm just briefing about what we all have covered, and today we are at a point that we will talk about how being in the present helps us in our healing, in healing the relationships, and how the mind identification, ego satisfaction creates obstacles in relationships and how they become toxic from the lovable relationships. And we will talk about that, the true meaning of love, and there is no opposite to love actually. If it is becoming hostile, then it was not love, it is not love. If I am becoming hostile, then in place of love there is, attachment has taken over, or ego satisfaction has taken over. What is ego satisfaction? We are going to talk about it in details, right? So uh, for the new people, I will start explaining a few things extra as we will read it. So let's start reading the book. And if you have just joined, I would request you, I would suggest you, at the end of the session, we will talk about it, that uh, how you can cover all the previous readings on the playlist. We will share with you. So please do it. But right now, let's just focus on what we have today, and it will all be, you'll be able to understand it. Okay. I believe the screen is visible. So this is the chapter 8. We have covered 7 chapters, and this is 8th chapter. And the name of the chapter is Enlightened Relationship. So this book is like a conversation. The seeker like you, seeker like me, are asking somebody who has experienced few things, and we are trying to get the solution to the our issues or the answers to our questions, right? So seeker like you and me is asking the author that I always thought that the true enlightenment is not possible except through love in a relationship between a man and a woman. Isn't this what makes us whole again? How can one's life be fulfilled until that happens? So, of course, we all have this thought process, and through social media, through web series, we have been fed with all this, which is that true enlightenment is not possible except through love in a relationship between a man and a woman. Isn't this makes us a whole again? We feel that we are empty when somebody gets married. They put on the status that you complete me. So it means we feel, or maybe is it true that we are half and we are trying to feel complete from the other person? How can one's life be fulfilled until this happens? So author is answering that, is that true in your experience? Has this happened to you? So author is questioning back that what is your experience about relationships? So we need to check ourselves. We need to ask ourselves, has it happened to you that you fell in love or you are in a relationship with somebody, and have you experienced the true enlightenment? And have you started experiencing complete? Yes, for the brief time, for 6 months, people experience that. But have you started feeling complete that, you have stopped running around looking for the things? You feel so complete, you feel so good from the inside that you're so fulfilled with love, peace, and happiness that you don't get disturbed. This is what author is asking. So seeker is saying, not yet, but how could it be otherwise? I know that it will happen. It has not happened yet, but it will happen. In other words, author is saying, in other words, you are waiting for for an event in time to save you. Is this not the core error that we have been talking about? Salvation is not elsewhere in place or time, it is here and now. So, but we think that all things will get better. And in this book also, we have talked about it, is that there is no place, there is no space, there is no time in the future that I will feel complete. No. Salvation means मुक्ति, हिंदी में मुक्ति बोलते हैं. Salvation means being peaceful, being complete, away from all the negativities, away from all the other outer worldly things, right? Salvation is not elsewhere in place or time. It is here and now. What does the statement mean? Salvation is here and now. I don't understand it. I don't even know what salvation means, right? So you must be getting this question. So let's understand it. Most people pursue physical pleasures or various forms of psychological gratification because they believe that those things will make them happy or free them from a feeling of fear or lack. Happiness may be perceived as a heightened sense of aliveness attained through physical pleasure, or a more secure and more complete sense of self attained through some form of psychological gratification. This is the search for salvation from a state of unsatisfactoriness or insufficiency. Invariably, any satisfaction that they obtain is short lived. So, the condition of satisfaction or fulfillment is usually projected once again onto an imaginary point away from here and now. When I obtain this or am free of that, then I will be okay. This is the unconscious mindset that creates the illusion of salvation in the future. So look around you, observe your thought process, observe your actions, that most people pursue physical pleasures or psychological gratification. Gratifications means रिजल्ट है ना. कुछ मिल जाता है उसे ग्रेटिफिकेशन बोलते हैं. Because they feel that this will make them happy. For example, shopping. For example, watching a web series. For example, getting married, being in a relationship. This is like, it is perceived as a heightened sense of aliveness attained through physical pleasure. Some people do substance abuse, take drugs, etc. This is the search of salvation from a state of unsatisfactoriness or insufficiency. We feel the void. हमें लगता है कि अभी ना कुछ कमी है. I want something to feel complete, and these are the physical pleasures. We take a new dress, we get makeup, and we post it on Instagram. We get thousands of likes. We feel good. We have perceived that happiness is like this only. ऐसे ही मिलेगा, पर ये आ कहाँ से रहा है? From where it is coming? I feel some kind of insufficiency inside of me, and I feel when I will get this, when I will have this much amount, or when I will get married, something like this, I will feel good. Then I will be okay. When I will have an ice cream, then I will be good. But this is the unconscious mindset that creates the illusion of salvation in the future. कि फ्यूचर में कुछ हो जाएगा ऐसा कि मैं खुश हो जाऊंगा. Right? True salvation is fulfillment, peace, life in all its fullness. The true meaning of salvation is fulfillment, peace, life in all its fullness. It is to be who you are, to feel within you the good that has no opposite, the joy of being that depends on nothing outside itself. It is felt not as a passing experience, but as an abiding presence. In theistic language, it is to know God, not as something outside you, but as your own innermost essence. True salvation is to know yourself as an inseparable part of timeless and formless one life from which all that exists derives its being. The true meaning of salvation, mukti, is fulfillment, peace, life. It is to be who you are. Who am I? To feel within you the good that has no opposite, which is the joy of being that depends on nothing outside itself. This is the real meaning of peace, fulfillment, salvation. It is not depending on the outside. Yesterday also we discussed that my purpose of life is to experience all those things, manifest all those things, and feeling that I have a purpose in life, and it is not dependent on anything outside. This may be, those who believe in God, those who have experienced God. I'm not saying believe in God, those who experience God. This is something what salvation is. We don't have to do anything extra. We don't have to have so many things to feel that. No, we don't have to have a particularly one relationship with the person to feel that salvation. No, it's not true. True salvation is a state of freedom. Freedom from fear, freedom from suffering, freedom from a perceived state of lack and efficiency, and therefore from all wanting, needing, grasping, and clinging. It is free from compulsive thinking, from negativity, and above all, from past and future as a psychological need. Your mind is telling you that you cannot get there from here. Something needs to happen, or you need to become this or that before you can be free and fulfilled. It is saying, in fact, that you need time, that you need to find out, sort out, do, achieve, acquire, become, or understand something before you can be free or complete. The real meaning of salvation is freedom from fear, freedom from the suffering, from the pain, freedom from feeling that there is some lack or insufficiency, and therefore freedom from all the wants. I want this to happen. I want people to be my way. I want this needs to be done. Needing, grasping, clinging. You understand? Chipakna, है ना? It is freedom from compulsive thinking, from negativity, and above all, from past and future as a psychological need. So think about it. This is true salvation is freedom from addiction, freedom from attachment, freedom from wanting. Think about how would your state of mind be. You are sitting for 2 minutes and no compulsive thinking, no addictive thinking, not a person who is there in your mind constantly You're not clinging to anything. You don't want anything. How would you feel? Your mind will stop seeking. That's true salvation. That's true peace. Otherwise, what it is, what is the real life scenario, is that your mind is telling you that this is not possible here. You need to find something or someone. You need to do something. You need to achieve something very big. You need to acquire a big house, a big car, an iPhone. Understand something before you can be free or complete. You see time as the means to salvation. हमको लगता है कि ये टाइम हमें salvation देगा, टाइम के साथ चीजें हो जाएंगी. Whereas in truth, it is the greatest obstacle to salvation. You think that you can't get there from where and who you are in this moment because you're not yet complete or good enough. But the truth is that here and now is the only point from where you can get there. You understand? We think that we can't go there from where I am. I can't do this. We see people around us who are making millions, billions, who are maybe you think they are good looking, they have a good relationship. I don't have that. So we think we can't go there, right? But the truth is that here and now is the only point from where you can get there. You get there by realizing that you're already there, which means whatever I'm looking for, I have it right now. I'm looking for peace. I'm looking for love. I'm looking for joy. I'm looking for happiness. I'm looking for freedom. I have it right now. You find God the moment you realize that you don't need to seek God, right? The moment I realize I don't need to seek anything, it is already with me. So there is no only way to salvation. Any condition can be used, but no particular condition is needed. However, there is only one point of access, that is now. There can be no salvation away from this moment. You are lonely and without a partner, enter the now from there. You are in a relationship, enter the now from there. You understand? True salvation, acceptance wherever you are. You think that you don't have anyone, you feel lonely. Okay, let's practice being in the present. Let's go into the depth of it. And you are in a relationship, that's okay. Enter the now from there also. There is nothing you can ever do or attain that will get you closer to salvation than it is at this moment. This may be hard to grasp for a mind accustomed to thinking that everything worthwhile is in the future. Nor can anything that you ever did or that was done to you in the past prevent you from saying yes to what is and taking your attention deeply into the now. You cannot do this in the future. You do it now or not at all. So, there is nothing we can ever do or attain that will get you closer to salvation than it is at this moment. So let go of all those thoughts when I will have this, when I will become this, when I will reach this, when I will get married or I'm in a relationship, then I will get salvation. I will be peaceful. Life will be set. It will never be set because it is maybe hard to understand because mind has accustomed. उसकी आदत है क्या? Everything will be in the future. When we were kids, we used to think when I will get a job, तब फ्री हो जाऊंगा, तब डिपेंडेंसी खत्म हो जाएगी. And look at our lives now, right? Similarly, nothing in the past which has happened to me, which was done to me, can have the effect on me being peaceful right now. So nothing, no thing has a power to have me, to take my attention from the present. So let's understand from the love-hate relationship perspective. Unless and until you access the consciousness frequency of presence, until and unless you access the consciousness frequency of presence, which means what is the real meaning of being in the present? We are talking about it in details, but think of a situation when you are sitting for 10 minutes and nothing is pulling you. You're just being so immersed in the present. You're talking good to yourself. Nothing is pulling you. Mind is not wandering in the past or future, not looking here and there for anything. Until and unless we don't experience this, all relationships and particularly intimate relationships are deeply flawed and ultimately dysfunctional. जब तक ये एक्सपीरियंस नहीं किया तो all the relationships and particularly intimate relationships, the close relationships are deeply flawed and ultimately dysfunctional. बहुत से उसमें problems है और dysfunctional है. They are not how they are supposed to be. They may seem perfect for a while, such as when you are in love, but after a few months, invariably that apparent perfection gets disrupted as arguments, conflicts, dissatisfaction, and emotional or even physical violence occur with increasing frequency. Initially, it is all good in love that, oxytocin is there, but slowly it will start fading away when the frequency of arguments or dissatisfaction, conflict, or emotional, physical violence increases. It seems that most love relationship become love-hate relationship before long. Love can then turn into savage attack, feeling of hostility or complete withdrawal of affection at the flick of a switch. The love which was there turn into an attack, feeling of hostility. The person become hostile. They hurt other people, the people whom they think that they love the most, with the flick of a switch, just a trigger point. And this is considered normal. Then we watch reels, and in reels we watch a reel, somebody saying about love that if that person loved you, then he should be dependent on you. He should feel sad. If he's getting angry at you, then it means they love you. And these kind of reels get 6 million views and 1 million likes. And once you're doing it, the algorithm will keep showing you this. This is considered normal. चलता है, इतना तो होता ही है. प्यार है ना, लड़ाई तो होती है, हॉस्टिलिटी तो होती है. The relationship that oscillates for a while, a few months or a few years between the polarities of love and hate, and it gives you as much pleasure as it gives you pain. It is not uncommon for couple to become addicted to those cycles. Please underline. It is very common for people to become addicted to those cycles. They start feeling good after few days. If there is no fight, they won't fight. They need fight. Their drama makes them feel alive. When a balance between the positive and negative polarities is lost, and the negative destructive cycle occur with increasing frequency and intensity, which tends to happen sooner or later, then it will no longer before the relationship finally collapses. Slowly and steadily, what is happening? A destructive cycle. More than happiness, pain, or pleasure or love, there is more destructiveness. And eventually, the relationship collapses. It may appear that if you could only eliminate the negative or destructive cycles, then all would be well and relationship would flower beautifully. But alas, this is not possible. The polarities are mutually interdependent. You cannot have one without the other. The positive already contains within itself the as yet unmanifested negative. Both are, in fact, different aspects of the same dysfunction. I'm speaking here of what is commonly called romantic relationship, not of true love, which has no opposite because it arises from beyond the mind. Love as a continuous state is as yet very rare as conscious human being. Brief and elusive glimpses of love, however, are possible whenever there is a gap in the stream of mind. So, author is saying I'm talking about romantic relationships, and I'm not saying them true love because the true love has no opposite because true love arises from beyond the mind, beyond the thinking, beyond all these polarities, negative and positive, attachments, possessiveness, jealousy, ego, controlling, right? So let's understand it more. The negative side of a relationship is, of course, more easily recognizable as dysfunctional than the positive one. And it is also easier to recognize the source of negativity in your partner than to see it in yourself. It can manifest in many forms: possessiveness, jealousy, control, withdrawal, and unspoken resentment, the need to be right, insensitivity, self absorption, emotional demand, manipulation, the urge to argue, criticize, judge, blame, attack, anger, unconscious revenge for past pain inflicted by a parent, rage, and physical violence. The negative ones are very visible, and especially in the partner, not in myself. On the positive side, so this is the negative side of a romantic relationship. What is the positive side? You are in love with your partner. This is at first a deeply satisfying state. You feel intensely alive, right? We all have experienced it. Your existence has suddenly become meaningful because someone needs you, wants you, make you feel special, and you do the same for him or her. When you're together, you feel whole. The feeling can become so intense that the rest of the world fades into insignificance. This is euphoria. This is a very, intense state. We all have experienced it. But let's come to the reality. However, you may also have noticed that there is a needness and clinging quality to that intensity. We want it more. We want it whole day, right? You become addicted to the other person. He or she acts on you like a drug. You are on a high when the drug is available. But even the possibility or the thought that he or she might no longer be there for you can lead to jealousy, possessiveness, attempts at manipulation through emotional blackmail, blaming, accusing, fear of loss. Can you relate to all these things? So there is a neediness, clinging quality to that intensity, just like drug. And let's face it, this is true. You want that person to be around you, not around any other person. That's hence the jealousy, hence the possessiveness, hence the manipulation through emotional blackmail, blaming, accusing. If the other person does not leave, if the other person does leave you, this can give rise to the most intense hostility or the most profound grief and despair. Intense hostility. They start harming them or others. They start becoming so hostile. You start to wonder that I have never seen them like this, or grief or despair. In an instant, loving tenderness can turn into a savage attack or dreadful grief. Where is the love now? Can love change into its opposite in an instant? Think about it. Was it love in the first place, or just an addictive grasping and clinging? Think about it. Addiction and search for wholeness. Why should we become addicted to other person? The reason why the romantic love relationship is such an intense and universally sought after experience is that it seems to offer liberation from a deep-seated state of fear, need, lack, and incompleteness that is part of human condition in its unredeemed and unenlightened state. There is a physical as well as a psychological dimension to this state. Why we become addicted to other person? Because the romantic love relationship is very intense. You forget everything and universally sought after experience because it seems to offer liberation. Liberation means freedom from a deep-seated state of fear or need or lack and incompleteness. We have that incompleteness, and this romantic love relationship seems to have all the answers. Suddenly, we start feeling complete, important. We suddenly start feeling joyful. We feel that I am needed, I am wanted, right? That's why we become addicted. And there is a physical as well as a psychological dimension to this state. On the physical level, you're obviously not whole, right? Nor will you ever be. You are either a man or a woman, which is to say, one half of the whole. On this level, the longing for wholeness, the return to oneness, manifest as male female attraction, man's need for a woman, and woman's need for a man. It is almost irresistible urge for union with the opposite energy polarity, right? On a physical level, we need that. Simple. It is almost irresistible urge for union with the opposite energy polarity. The root of this physical urge is a spiritual one. We need to understand this. But the root of this physical urge is a spiritual one, that is the longing for an end to duality, a return to the state of wholeness. Of course, we want to feel one. We want to feel that oneness, not duality. We talked about oneness, right? That we should feel that we all are one. That's all conscious state. We want to feel that everything is connected to me. This is the spiritual root of all this physical urge. And you know what? Sexual union is the closest you can get to this state on the physical level. So, what is soul consciousness? We want to experience that oneness, that soul consciousness, out of body experience, truly, truly, truly in the present, being very alive, not thinking about anything else. And on a physical level, we can get it only through sexual union. That is why it is most deeply satisfying experience the physical realm can offer. That's why we become addicted. But sexual union is no more than a fleeting glimpse of wholeness, an instant of bliss. This sexual union is just a fleeting glimpse, just a momentary, just, 0.01% of what we can experience the same thing spiritually, an instant of bliss. As long as it is unconsciously sought as a mean of salvation, you are seeking the end of duality on the level of form where it cannot be found. As long as it is unconsciously means बेहोशी में पता ही नहीं है, have no reason at all. We are looking for this experience only as a mean of salvation, that oneness, that being soul conscious, that being free. And you're seeking the end of duality on the level of form. फिजिकल लेवल पर हम इस चीज को एक्सपीरियंस करने की कोशिश कर रहे हैं, वो मुक्ति, वो फ्रीडम, एंड वेयर इट कैन नॉट बी फाउंड. It's just a fleeting glimpse, but it cannot be found. So you are given a tantalizing glimpse of heaven, but you are not allowed to dwell there and find yourself again in a separate body. You are given an experience which is otherworldly, but after a few minutes, you have to come back to it again. Okay? Think about it for just a minute. Whatever we have listened, just give me a minute. All right. So, are we able to understand this, everyone? Are we listening? Are we able to understand? Is it becoming difficult, deep, or we are on the same page? Are we on the same page? Please let me know. Okay, ठीक है. Right. So here we are trying to understand why we get addicted and why it is not healthy and what is the real meaning of relationship. So we have given that experience, but again, you're not allowed to stay there. You have to come back to it again, to a separate body. So on the psychological level, mind level, the sense of lack and incompleteness is, if anything, even greater than on the physical level. We have that feeling of incompleteness psychologically more than what we have on the physical level. Like we talked, no, that we are never complete. On a physical level, we are always half, right? Similarly, on psychological level, as long as you are identified with the mind, मेरा मन कर रहा है ये करने का, I feel like doing this, I am identifying with my mind. You have an externally derived sense of self. That is to say, you get your sense of who you are from things that ultimately have nothing to do with who you are. Your social role, your possessions, external appearance, successes, and failures, belief system, and so on. This false mind-made self, the ego, feels vulnerable, insecure, and is always seeking new things to identify with, to give it a feeling that it exists. But nothing is ever enough to give it lasting fulfillment. Its fear remains, its sense of lack and neediness remains. Even if you get into a relationship, I have mind identified ego that this person will give me something. It will remove, the person will remove all my insecurities, fear, incompleteness. But this is only temporary. And after that, you know what happens. More than happiness, we are sad. More than peace, we get all the traumas, all the negativity, sadness. But then that special relationship comes along. It seems to be the answer to all ego's problem and to meet all its needs. At least this is how it appears at first, a relationship, right? All the other things that you derived your sense of self from before now become relatively insignificant. You now have a single focal point that replaces them all, gives meaning to your life, and through which you define your identity, the person you are in love with. You are no longer a disconnected fragment in an uncaring universe, or so it seems, right? So you were going through all those insecurity, vulnerability. You wanted some possessions, some money, some external experience. Suddenly, a relationship comes up, and your all focus shifts from there to this. That I am in love with this person. I feel, and your word has now a center, the loved one. The fact that the center is outside you, and that therefore you still have an externally derived sense of self does not seem to matter at first. You have a center in your life, but still it is outside you, but it doesn't matter. You feel like it's okay. Doesn't matter, right? What matters is that the underlying feelings of incompleteness, of fear, lack, and unfulfillment, so characteristic of the egoic state, are no longer there. What matters is that the underlying feelings of incompleteness, खाली खाली लगता था पहले, डर लगता था, you start feeling a sense of security, you start feeling fulfilled. So author is asking, have they dissolved? Is it gone when you come into a relationship, that incompleteness is gone? Or do they continue to exist underneath the happy surface reality? Will they, are they still there, covered by a happy surface reality? If in your relationships you experience both love and the opposite of love, attack, emotional violence, and so on, then it is likely that you are confusing ego attachment and addictive clinging with love. Think about it. If there is an opposite to love, then it is likely that you are confusing ego attachment and addictive clinging with love. It is not love. You cannot love your partner one moment and attack him or her the next. True love has no opposite. If your love has an opposite, then it is not love. We have to acknowledge it, we have to accept it. Otherwise, we will not find the solution. You need to be brave. You need to have the courage to say to yourself that, yes, my love has opposite. It means it is ego satisfaction. It is ego attachment, addictive clinging. This is not love. I need to change these things. True love has no opposite. If your love has an opposite, then it is not love, but a strong ego need for a more complete and deeper sense of self. A need that the other person temporarily meets. It is ego's substitute for salvation, and for a short time, it almost does feel like salvation. So, for example, if my partner is listening to what I'm saying, if they are listening to 10 things and is not listening to the 11th, has not listened to the 11th, मेरी बात नहीं मानी, so do I become hostile? Do I feel sad? Then it is not love. Then it is the ego satisfaction, ego attachment. A person can be totally different from what my habits are and may just listen to one things out of 10 you tell them. Still that those people can love you. But a person may be listening to 10 out of 10 things to you of you, following you, but it does not mean they love you. Maybe fearful, maybe some other thing. But let's not equate love with attachment, with expectation. True love has no opposite. If it has, it means ego attachment is there. Ego is looking for something. Ego is looking for salvation, peace, fulfillment, freedom. And for a short time, it almost does feel like salvation when we are in a relationship. But there comes a point when your partner behaves in ways that fail to meet your needs, or rather those of your ego's needs. Not taking a stand, not listening to you, the feelings of fear, pain, and lack that are an intrinsic part of egoic consciousness, but that had been covered up by the love relationship is what is happening now, resurfacing. Just as with every other addiction, you are on a high when the drug is available, but invariably there comes a time when the drug no longer works for you. You know that, right? That same drug does not work for people after some time. So, what is happening when those painful feelings reappear? You feel them even more strongly than before. And what is more, you now perceive your partner as the cause of those feelings. You feel that this all is happening because of them. It was already there. It was just covered up with the drug. Now it is surfacing and with more intensity. This means that you project them outward and attack the other with all the savage violence that is part of your pain. This attack may awaken the partner's own pain, and he or she may counter your attack. They will also get triggered. No, it may trigger their pain, and now they will fight you. At this point, the ego is still unconsciously hoping that its attack or its attempt at manipulation will be sufficient punishment to induce your partner to change their behavior. But ego is thinking, hoping that all these manipulation, all those attacks will be sufficient punishment to induce your partner to change their behavior so that it can use them again as a cover up for your pain. You are painful inside. Again, the ego, what does the ego want? It wants that the other person should understand that all those punishments is happening and they should change their behavior. You understand the cycle of all this? Every addiction arises from an unconscious refusal to face and move through your own pain. When do people get addicted? When they don't accept that I am in pain and I have to deal with it, I have to face it. They want to escape it. Every addiction starts with the pain and ends with the pain. Whatever the substance you are addicted to, alcohol, food, legal, illegal drugs, or a person, you are using something or somebody to cover up your pain. That is why, after the initial euphoria has passed, the initial state of being very happy, feeling very live, there is so much unhappiness, so much pain in intimate relationships. They do not cause pain and unhappiness. They bring out the pain and happiness that is already in you. Every addiction does that. Every addiction reaches a point where it does not work for you. This is what the tolerance is in addiction. And then you feel the pain more intensely than ever. This is one reason why most people are always trying to escape from the present moment and are seeking some kind of salvation in the future. The first thing that they might encounter if they focus their attention on the now is their own pain, and that is what they fear, right? Why most of the people always trying to escape the present moment? Because there is pain and they are fearful about it that they will have to face the pain. They will, we feel very, uh, it gets very difficult to accept that I am in pain. I need healing. If they only knew how easy it is to access in the now, the power of presence that dissolves the past and its pain, the reality that dissolves the illusion. If only they knew how close they are in their own reality, how close to God. So we know now, right? We know how to let go of that pain, how to dissolve those illusions, and how close I am coming to my own reality and God, right? You all are coming. Avoidance of relationships in an attempt to avoid pain is also not the answer. The pain is there anyway. 3 failed relationships in as many years are more likely to force you into awakening than 3 years on a desert island or shut away in your room. But if you could bring intense presence into your aloneness, that would work for you too. So, failed relationship more likely to force you into awakening, understanding that I have to cure my pain. So, this till this point only we will read today. Then tomorrow we will start reading from addicted. We have discussed about the issue. Tomorrow we will discuss about the solution. So, how to go from addicted relationship to enlightened relationship. What to do? Author has briefly touched that practice being in the now, but how to do that, how to understand in that um, relationship dynamics, we will discuss, we will talk about, right? Okay, so questions time from today's session. We will discuss few questions. So whoever is ready, please turn on the video and we will open your camera, turn on your mic, and you can answer. So the first question I'm asking you from today's reading, that you see time as a mean to salvation, whereas in truth it is the greatest obstacle to salvation. How do you perceive this? And what have you understood about the meaning of true salvation? Yeah, so who is going to answer? Okay, raise their hand. Okay, yes, Rajiv ji.
Actually, I felt that true salvation is right now because um, I found that with prayer, we always think that after doing that, I will get the salvation. After doing that, I will be satisfied. After getting these things from since childhood, because my mindset is like that. We always think that we will be free from that age, we will be free from that age. But because we are staying, because we are not aware about that condition. Now I'm aware about this condition and feeling that this is not good, this is not good. So I feel that after some time that situation will come and I will be free. Now the mentality in the Hindu that dharam, dharam is for old age person, not for children and younger person. But it is a very, very bad because they are not trying to understand what is dharam. Dharam is that which brought you in the present is the dharam, and which keeps you cool, calm, and in peace is the dharam. That's why I am feeling after reading this chapter, I found that if from since childhood we are missing those things. That's why I understood the crux that I got that point nicely.
Yeah. Yes. Yes.
Thanks,
Yes. So
thanks, brother.
we
On
see time as um, that, after a few years, after this, I will be happy. But actually, the greatest obstacle to salvation is the time only. Right? That's so true. So, second question. So, the author has said most of the intimate relationships are deeply flawed and ultimately dysfunctional. Most relationships oscillate between polarities of love and hate, and couples become addicted to these cycles. Their drama makes them feel alive. Was this an eye opener for you? Could you relate to any of your personal experience in close relationships? Would you like to share about this? Who would like to share about this? This answer only. Yes, Vipinji, would you answer this question? Anyone else? Anyone wants to answer? Any experience you want to share that yes, the drama makes people alive or they become addicted to the cycle of pain, pleasure, and pain, oscillate between polarity of love and hate.
Yes,
Yes, please.
yes, brother. This except that
Mhm.
after my marriage, we thought of it will be a good thing and it will be an intense love. There will not be any problem. It was our pre-thinking before marriage, and but once we enter into marriage and when we keep living our life and lots of these types of cycles comes and yes, a lot of incidents reminds me that whatever this author is saying, we entangle in these cycles and sometimes yes, and this cycle only alive our lives. I felt many occasions that there are difference in opinions many times. So that time our ego only will be come friend. Compromise will not take place. Then the same situation, then we judge ourselves. Then the next incident, this also fuel these situations. But as far as Indian culture concerned, we going together, and there will not no separation of the life cycle will be decided. Unlike Western, this one, we Indian cultures are jointly together, even though there are a lot of these egoistic cycles are going through. But a lot of learnings also, lot of learnings from the other point. The persons who uses different situations, when we go alone and analyze that how my spouse has analyzed that situation, then we wonder how the spouse has responds the situation, how myself is reacted on that situations. When we that also is amazing and lessons and a lot of learnings also.
Yeah, we will talk about it tomorrow in detail, how to get learnings from that. So, yeah. Yes,
Thank you.
people get, addicted to those cycles, those dramas, and um, they start feeling it as a normal thing. ये तो सबकी लाइफ में होता है, क्या फर्क पड़ता है? This is very natural. We have to look beyond it. That's why the third question: true love has no opposite because it arises from beyond the mind. Do you believe in true love? Like, is there anything which arises from beyond the mind? Do you feel it is practically possible to experience such pure love nowadays? Who wants to answer? Hmm. Yes, let's hear it from Jayati. Jayati, will you speak? Anika?
Can you
Huh?
hear me?
Yes.
Yes. Yes, we can experience pure love in whenever we are in the consciousness that I am the giver and I am here to give. And when we feel complete in ourselves, then it doesn't matter the situation is good or not, and whoever the person is, we are always on the giving end. And it's easy to forgive also, let go also, and move on. It's possible. Thank you.
Okay. Yes, Anika.
Shanti, am I audible?
Yes, Shanti.
Yeah, I feel the understanding of what is true love is quite limited. I think a lot of people don't really understand, and it is a lot of time with attachment. Like people say, obviously, if it's love, we have to be attached to each other. How can we have true love without attachment? So I think, to be honest, it is difficult. Obviously, there are very pure relationships like that of a mother and child that is pure. But usually, especially I think in couples, there is that feeling of attachment, that dependency, that is there. I mean, and I really don't think that true love. A lot of people don't really have the definition of that. They haven't experienced it. Um, so yeah, I don't think, especially in couples, it is. It's not been experienced. No, it's only
Hmm.
when you feel God's love. It's only when you get that unconditional love that you can experience. When you start understanding that it's not attachment, it's not dependency, it's not ego satisfaction, is when you actually start experiencing true love, which is very rare, I feel, in any relationship. Well, thank you.
Yeah, yeah, getting some mixed and beautiful answers. And yes, somebody wrote it very beautifully, Karuna, that yes, it is, but the real love, true love we can experience it through God's love and experiencing Him. Talking about it does not matter, but experiencing it through meditation. And I have experienced that. It's such a pure form of love, the true meaning of unconditional and true love, right? But yes, we can have relationships. We can have love for people true, which is 100% true. Yes, we need to work on it a lot because, like Jayati said, that when we start 100%, when we start being a giver, when we are unaffected, we start to understand our role, and it's independent of what the other person is doing or giving externally. Uh, we can experience true love, and then you will start experiencing that wow, relationships, there is a research that the most important thing for people, for good mental health, for happiness, is relationship. So right now relationships are more of anxiety than a blessing, but when we start working on ourselves so much that we remove all those mind ego satisfaction, then we will start experiencing love. But for that, we have to fill ourselves with so much of peace, so much of love, so much of happiness, and with God's love only. Then only we'll be able to give it. So, yeah, it is possible, and I have experienced it. And when we start experiencing it, you feel so free, you feel so liberating, and that cycle of hate is not there, and you start to say that yes, actually true love has no opposite. You can love people without expectations. You can love people without without hurting them. You can love people by supporting them, creating a friendly environment for them, and you can be free of all those jealousy, possessiveness, and you can still love the person. So it is very much possible. We all must experience this, but yes, first we have to make ourselves complete, make ourselves complete with God's love, feeling His love and healing ourselves. Then only it is possible, because we will stop projecting our issues on the other person, which generally happens in romantic relationships. We start taking responsibility of our own feelings. We start understanding that nobody is responsible for my happiness. I have to create it for myself. Okay. So thank you so much. And we will meet tomorrow, 3 p.m. And we will talk about how to go from addicted relationship to enlightened relationships. Okay. Let's do a 2 minute meditation, understanding how to go about all these things which we have learned. So just sit straight, Anshika. घूमना फिरना बंद करो, बैठो आराम से. Close your eyes. No past, no future. My love for people has no opposite. I understand ego satisfaction. Ego is looking for fights, fear, dramas. But I am a soul and I am a joy of being. A joyful soul, a giver. My role I have defined. I am at peace with myself. I don't project my traumas, my insecurities, my pain onto others. I know it will be little difficult, little uncomfortable to accept that I have pain, but that is the way to heal. I am God's powerful soul, God's powerful child, and I have the power to heal myself. Om Shanti, and see you tomorrow.